You know, I have some free time. I think I might play the game. It's been a while since I've had the chance to. I've just been so busy recently. Ooh, I'm so excited. It's been a while. Huh? That's okay. I guess I'll just play a different game. Alright, this one's gotta work. Alright, whatever. Those games weren't that popular, but I know the GOAT is still working, right? Everybody that played this game loved it. You know what? Fine. In honor of the NBA playoffs, I'm gonna play some basketball. What? Alright, Madden it is, I guess. When it comes to Madden on the PS4 and after, this is probably my favorite. Alright, since... Well, there might be a slight exaggeration in that.
Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. You could be next.
It was really not that long ago that when you bought something, it was actually yours. I mean, you were able to lend it to your friend or set it on a shelf for years, and the only thing that would change about it would be the amount of dust that was there for you when you picked it up again. And now, our games are tied to an account, our movies live in a digital library, and our music is on a monthly subscription base. And even the most traditional media like books aren't safe. They're becoming increasingly more tied to apps and other services that just give you access to the license rather than true ownership. And that's becoming all too common. More and more what we're paying for isn't actually the thing itself, it's permission. Permission to access it, permission to stream it, or just use the product for as long as the company allows it. If a company can just take it away from you, remove your access, or lock it behind a server on a whim, I don't think we ever owned it to begin with. And the funny part is we agreed to this. It was in those 1,000-word agreements that none of us bothered to read. You know, the ones that we all joked about? Turns out the joke was on us the whole time. And corporations knew we weren't going to read that. That's why somewhere in that mess is where they hid the part that they tell you what you're paying for isn't really yours. PlayStation and Microsoft both say licensed, not sold. And streaming is really the same thing, it's just dressed up cleaner. Because everyone knows that titles come and go on streaming services, so they're more accepting of it. But that doesn't make it suck any less when the show you're halfway through watching just switches to another platform, or disappears from all of them entirely, and then you can't even finish it. With games, they pretend like we're buying something. At least streaming is a little more upfront about it. I mean, it's not a new formula. You pay a monthly subscription and you get a service. It makes sense. Until you open the app one day and then the comfort show you used to fall asleep is no longer there. Not because you're behind on a bill, just because some behind the scenes deal got made. It's none of your concern. But honestly, services like Redbox prepped us for what streaming sites were going to become. I think we understood what we were signing up for. However, the marketing for the gaming storefronts was a bait and switch from the start, and we all got trained to treat it as normal, to the point where I'm the crazy one. And even going physical and buying the disc doesn't solve the problems for video games today, because that's just a key to the license wrapped in plastic. So even if you try to go back to the old way, it's already been hollowed out. A disc used to mean something. A book on your shelf means something. Even if the company disappears tomorrow, you'll still have what you spent your money on. Now, with most of the way that we consume media today, your access can be revised, removed, region locked, or delisted, or even altered. All because a platform changed its terms, lost rights, or shut down a server overnight to save some money. It's no longer ownership, it's only permission that can be revoked at any time. EA and Ubisoft both rightfully got flack when they announced they were going to be shutting down the servers to their games Anthem and The Crew. And because they were designed as online-only titles, they were going to be inaccessible to everybody who bought them. And if you're thinking that's just like two of the worst, most greedy, money-hungry companies out there, you have a point. But even PlayStation announced that they were going to be removing previously purchased Discovery content from users' libraries. And to the surprise of no one, it was because of more licensing arrangement issues. Thankfully, in this specific case, PlayStation did come through in the end and allow users to keep their purchased content. How is it even a debate? And to me, I think the scummiest part is with games like the aforementioned Anthem or The Crew, or even the games in my sketch at the beginning, or titles like Concord. They all kind of fit into this narrative. At the time of the sale, none of us understood how long we were getting access for. There wasn't a countdown, there wasn't a warning saying, hey, this product might only last 1 year. Or in Concord's case, I think it was like 11 days. But they did refund buyers there, so credit where credit's due. kind of. And I really wish this was a problem that was just affecting video games, but unfortunately, it started to leak into every single format of media. Honestly, if I were to ask you where your favorite movie is, most of us wouldn't be able to say it's on our shelf. Most likely, it's just on whatever streaming platform owns the rights to it right now. A movie will leave the platform, a show will vanish, or sometimes the whole catalog gets reshuffled. Sometimes it's because of a licensing agreement, other times because of a merger, or simply because a company would rather take a tax write-off than actually let the art stay alive for you to watch. But up until recently, when these games started getting killed more and more, I think most of us were just so used to the old way. When you bought a game, you owned it, unless you sold it or broke it. And streaming's really trying to evoke the same emotion when it says, watch anytime, anywhere, all of your favorites in one place. And that all sounds nice until you realize that's the death of ownership. Now all they're selling us is the feeling of ownership, while legally protecting themselves to treat it as temporary whenever it's convenient to them. To be clear, I'm not advocating for it. But part of the reason piracy keeps coming back is this exact feeling. When people lose faith that the legal and paid-for path is going to respect ownership, permanence, or even basic fairness, they just stop seeing the system as legitimate as a whole, which is why quotes like, if buying isn't ownership, then piracy isn't theft get thrown around so much. It hits so hard because it expresses the feeling of being cheated, of paying full price for something, only for it to later get yanked away from you. To be fair, convenience is powerful. Streaming is a lot easier than having to swap discs every time you want to watch something different. Instant access is easy. I get it. I use this stuff too. But convenience tends to have a nasty habit of hiding the hidden cost. We traded our shells for logins, permanence for access, and possession for a user agreement. And because the trade happened gradually, it never felt like one big loss. Funnily enough, it was all disguised as progress. Until the day comes where you go looking for something that you thought was yours, only to realize it was only your turn. A reasonable question to be asking at this point is, so what's the point of this? Like, why are you talking about all this? What can we actually do? And honestly, my answer's a lot less sexy than a lot of people want to hear. Just vote with your wallet. Buy physical media again. Yes, even if that means you have to actually get into your car and drive to the store like it's 2007. Do it anyways, because every physical purchase is a tiny refusal to let convenience erase ownership completely. Maybe it would help if we stopped acting like we need to be caught up on every single show every single week forever. Maybe every show doesn't need to be consumed the second it drops. If it's something that you know you care about, wait for the Blu-ray, the DVD, the box set, something you can actually keep forever, something that you own. And in the cases where you're not actually sure if it's worth your money, that's fine. Let the internet do what it's there for. Watch the clips, watch scenes, view the discussion online, see if it's worth your time. And while we're at it, go back to a theater. Not just because they're dying or for some nostalgic reasons, but because some art deserves to be appreciated that way. On a massive screen, in a dark room full of strangers, all gathered for one reason. Not on some rectangle so small it can be squeezed into your pocket. Seriously, look at one of my timelines. Look how absurdly messy and layered it gets just to make one of my videos work. How long I spend just editing. And look at the size of my channel. What I'm doing doesn't touch the complexity of what these movies are doing. So when I look at a piece of art like the timeline for John Wick Chapter 4, I don't just see a movie. I see a ridiculous amount of hours, attention to detail, and passion that contributed to this. A project to the level I dream I'm able to make one day.
You serious?
Well, that and a PC that can load all of it. But the point is, some art should feel large and be treated as the spectacle that it is. The good news is people are starting to notice. California now requires clearer disclosure when digital goods are being sold as licensed rather than being implied as ownership. And in Europe, the Stop Killing Games initiative is a big reason why this video was made, gathering over 1.2 million verified statements of support, forcing the European Commission to examine the issue. That doesn't fix everything, but it does prove that people are starting to wake up to the difference between buying access and actually owning something. And if you're enjoying this video, you'll probably like the day Truth died. It's a different problem with the same rotten core. And one more thing, I forgot who it was right now, but I'll find your comment and put it up here somewhere on screen. As you can see, your like finally got me that new mic. Seriously, I hope everyone who's watched previous videos of mine have enjoyed the upgrade. And then to all new viewers, if you go back on the channel, there's some quality content, but bear with the mic issue, please. Please, give me some more views. Please, please, I need it. Please. Till next time, boys. To be fair, convenience is super convenient. No shit.